this particular angle of list that we're dealing with here, we're going to load some cargo, but we don't want the angle of list to exceed 5 degrees throughout the operation. So what we have to do with a problem like this is look at it and work out when we're going to have our maximum listing moment. In other words, at what point when the vessel picks up the weight will the maximum listing moments occur, bearing in mind that moments are always weight times distances. If we can find at what point that occurs, we can use our formula tan theta is GGH over GM and calculate our GM at the time of the maximum angle of list. If we've got our Km, we can also find our Kg at the maximum angle of list. Once we've got the Kg at the maximum angle, we can, if you like, work backwards in the table to work out what our initial Kg should be prior to loading. So let's look at this problem. We've got our displacement 12,000 tonnes, Km 9.72 constant, and with a 50 tonne weight, we're going to use our own derrick, and the weight is on the quay 19 metres to starboard of the centre line. Kg of the derrick is 22. So when we look at this, we've got to really think that the critical instant, the maximum angle of list is going to occur at the moment that the derrick picks the weight up. The moment the weight is picked up, the kg of the weight acts right at the top, the derrick head, and the listing moment has got to be this distance from the centre line to the weight, which is 19 metres. So at this point our listing moment is going to be 19 times 50 tonnes. So that's going to be the maximum angle, potentially the maximum angle of list, because once the weight starts being swung on board, the listing distance there is going to decrease. Therefore the listing moment must decrease. So let's have a look at the working out. I'm saying to us that the maximum list is 5 degrees. We've worked out when it occurs, and we know that tan theta is G to G1 or GH over GM. We know tan theta, we're told it's 5 degrees, and we're trying to find our GM at that point. Well, G to G1 is the weight, 50 tonnes, times its distance from the centre line over the total weight of the vessel. So once we've got that, we can get the GM at the angle when we're lifting at the maximum listing angle. So G to G1 is going to be 50 times 19. The total weight, of course, is the initial displacement of the vessel plus the 50 tonnes. We can see there it's 12,500. 0.076 to starboard, GG1. Tan theta is GG1 over GM. Therefore, GM at the lift is going to be 0.869 degrees. So at 5 degrees angle of list, our GM would be 0.869. Km we're told is 9.72. Therefore, at that point, when we would expect the maximum list, our Kg is going to be 8.851. So to obtain the original Kg, all we need to do is work backwards. So at this point here, when the weight is 12,500, in other words, that we're holding the weight, our Kg is going to be 8.851. So let's take it off the vessel. So we must subtract the 50 tonnes. Now you've got to be careful here, you must use a Kg of 22 for the weight, because the moment the crane picks it up, the centre of gravity of the weight acts at the top of the crane. It doesn't matter how much up or down the wire on the derrick it is, its weight acts right at the top. So the Kg is 22. So it's minus 50 at 22. Therefore we've got our moments and our weight, and we can work out our Kg maximum allowable at the list of 5 degrees is 8.80. Okay? The second part asks us to determine the final list. Well, that's very straightforward. There's our weight, kg, initial kg of course, when we started out, moments. We've loaded the cargo at kg 3.5, moments, get our new kg. We've loaded it 5 metres to starboard, starboard moments 250. Usual procedure, work your way through, get the final kg, final GM, horizontal shift of G to G1 or GH, and gives us a final angle of list of 1.2 degrees to starboard. So that's how we would solve that. First of all, you've got to think in your mind and look at the information you're given. When will the maximum list occur? At what point when you're holding that weight? Once you've realised that and deduced that, you can simply work through the problem methodically.